you people? Every time you see a black woman, it has to be a pimp or a John? What do you think, there's a lot of work down on the pier for hookers? You think I'm giving blowjobs down there to goldfish?
Welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them. This season we're making Whoopi. That's right, we're Hangin 10 with Whoopi Goldberg. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is talking about my generation, Joe Vekeman.
Talking about your generation?
No, my generation. Oh yeah, I guess it's our generation. Our generation.
Your generation.
Our generation.
Generation.
All right, and
That's
on
right.
the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. All right, Joe, what movie is our number 2 in Hangin 10 with Whoopi?
Our number 2 movie is Jumpin, Jack Flash.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a gas.
It sure was. Joe, what movies did we kind of skip over to get here? Any notables in that passage?
Just one.
Just one? Oh, that one.
The Color Purple.
Yes.
I believe it's the only one we skipped.
I know, audience members. Why did we skip it? Well, kind of we're trying to spread out over the 3, and we know there's a remake of Color Purple coming soon, so we thought maybe we'd kind of throw in a bonus episode later on. We know it's an important film for Whoopi's career.
It's very important. She got nominated for an Oscar for it,
Yes. We know. We're trying to find a lot of different genres and things. So it's a movie we will get to at some point in the future, but it is not part of our Hanging 10 Prime collection.
We just really come off as assholes because it's like Citizens, her first movie in 1982. Then it's The Color Purple. Then it's Jumpin' Jack Flash.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay.
Yeah, don't worry, listeners. You will get it. But we'll be keeping it in mind as we discuss Jumping Jack Flash as part of her career trajectory. All right, Joe, what happens in Jumping Jack Flash?
An American computer whiz who works at a New York bank is suddenly thrust into the world of international espionage after she inadvertently receives a coded message from a British spy.
Pretty high concept, pretty 80s type design, but not one of the worst 80s films I've seen.
No.
Does
Did
the
you
job.
know who the voice was?
Is it the same guy that shows up at the end?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Jonathan Pryce. You know, we've actually seen Jonathan Pryce in one of our miniseries before.
No, what?
Well, he was one of the villains in G.I. Joe Retaliation.
I remember one villain from G.I. Joe.
That's our connection.
And they get
Oh,
rid
and
of
Carol
him
Kane.
right away because he's trapped in a tube or whatever.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
That was like the middle of the pandemic. We were watching trash and feeling like trash. But Carol Kane's in this.
That's
and she's
right.
got a pretty good role in it.
No, you've got...
Last time we saw her was Carnal Knowledge.
You got like a pretty nice cast. You got Carol Kane. You got... The John Lovitz was not the crossover I was expecting with Whoopi, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, John Lovitz.
You got
with
Phil
his New York
Hartman.
Yankees hat.
You've got like a pretty nice... Michael McKean was in here for a bit. You got like a pretty good cast.
Annie Potts?
Yeah, Annie Potts of Young Sheldon fame, of course.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's the most, like,
I
known
think
thing.
her boss was the Eraserhead. So, like, you've got some notable actors here, I think. Notable actors here, and you've utilized basically none of them, which seemed odd to me, right? But
Yeah.
I guess nobody knew these were going to be anybody yet. I guess Carol Kane was on Taxi, but John Lovitz, he wasn't on SNL yet,
John
was
Lovitz, I think he might have been in, like, his first year, or
Yeah.
maybe it's the year before. It's 86. That's early.
That's early. Like, is Phil Hartman even on SNL?
I'll check this out for you. John Lovitz.
John
Let's
Lovitz
see
being like,
here.
I'm a New York guy. What about it? It's basically Hank Azaria's role in Godzilla.
He started 1 year before. He started in 85.
Wow, he was on there a while. Jeez.
Oh, yeah, and Stephen Collins. You know Stephen Collins, right?
No,
Oh, come on.
I don't.
Stephen Collins is most famous for playing one of the father on Seventh Heaven. You know this?
Oh, yeah, he was
Seventh Heaven.
I didn't know him by name, of course. He was like the American spy guy, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Phil Hartman, gone too soon, way too soon. Let's see here. He started in 85 too.
Well, so they're starting the year that this movie's filming, so I don't know how much that sort of played into the casting choices of the film.
This is like up and coming stars, it feels like.
When did
like
Color
they
Purple
might have
come
had
out?
one the year before.
Okay. So I don't even know if Color Purple was factoring into the casting decision here.
They were probably like, this feels like it's a Steven Spielberg movie, you know. It's Oprah, Steven Spielberg, and Whoopi. And you're like, well, she's probably going to be a star. Let's put her with Penny Marshall.
She was great in Citizen, Penny Marshall said.
I'm sure she saw a little bit of the dailies of The Color Purple and was like, well, I guess this movie's being nominated for a lot of awards. Did it win any, though? I don't know.
I don't think Citizen won any awards. It was just a Sundance.
No, I'm saying The
selection.
Color Purple. Jumpin' Jack Flash, though. So, what do we think? It was one of my picks. I had never seen this movie. I'd only ever heard of it. And I had a good time.
I had not heard of any of it. But for an 80s film, like I said, not bad. You know.
Yeah. It's kind of in and out. It's
was
like
not
95
unwatchable.
minutes.
You know, follows the beats pretty good. Whoopi, I think, is... Whoopi and all the little TV actors around her kind of helping me get through it. Other than this blue dress through a shredder thing that I thought was a bit much. Not that it itself was bad, it just seemed like it went on for 2 minutes, this one thing.
Yeah, some of the gags are a little bit extended.
Yeah, but, you know, I don't know. I like her getting dragged through town on a phone booth, and she's, like, trying to call the police. She's like, I'm in a fucking phone booth. Wait, you'll see me.
Yeah, this movie's rated R, but it's mostly just for cursing. There's, like,
Yeah.
barely any, some violence, a little bit of violence
Yeah,
at the end.
violence is, it's like people get shot, but, like, I don't know. They do that all the time.
There's
now.
no, like, blood or gore.
People
or
get, yeah,
anything.
exactly. Yeah, it's not gory stuff. It is still leaning towards the comedic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an overtly sexual film because it's the 80s.
I mean, come on. At the beginning of the 80s is very...
we're not even in the beginning of the 80s.
I know, but I'm saying, like, you're saying, like,
When
the 80s
I say
is just,
listen, like when people say the 60s, they're not talking about like 1962. They're talking about 1966. When I say the 80s, I'm talking about mid to late 80s because that's what we're all. There's no little 70s spillover. There's no more The Border. We're in full on ironweed territory, you know.
My pushback is just early De Palma, like in the 80s. Yeah.
So, well, some people, it's not a barren wasteland in the 80s.
No.
But it's pretty close. Jumpin' Jack Flash, I think, is really strong use of Whoopi's comedic chops, which is good since this is her first comedy movie.
Yeah, this is like her, this is her starring vehicle. It's for her.
It's purely for her. The whole thing legitimately rests on her. If she's not going to hold it up, there's nobody to help her. Everybody else is aggressively supporting.
Yeah. Oh, okay. More supporting people in this. Michael McKean, Tracy Ullman.
The Michael McKean one's interesting because Penny Marshall used to be his co-star on Laverne and Shirley. So she was like tapping her friend to like help her out for a little bit.
Yeah, just Jim Belushi, though.
Yeah, Jim,
what do we think of Jim?
Feels like he's been popping up a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, hasn't he? Right.
They're like, we're spending all this money on these action pieces. We can't afford John. Although he actually probably was dead by now.
Was he? Oh, wow. I
think he died in the early 80s.
82.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jim Belushi's kind of fine in this movie, but also he just seems to, like, disappear. Like, she doesn't kill him, but he's just not at the end climax. They capture everybody else. It's just Jim Belushi, everybody.
I'm trying to remember some of the bits in this. The blue dress, yeah, that did go on a little bit. The phone booth is very funny. She's just being dragged across the city. I don't know. I want to move on to what did Raj think of this?
Roger, Roger, Roger. Roger, 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 Roger. R-O-G-E-R. R-O-G-E-R.
Oh, yeah.
You want to know what? You want to know what Roger thought of this?
Give it to me.
Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times praised Goldberg's performance, but felt that she was harnessed to an exhausted screenplay, an anthology of old ideas and worn-out cliches.
Very true. Like, most notably repeated with, like, what's her name? Mila Kunis?
Mila Kunis, yeah.
Right, that's her name. And Kirsten Wiig, I think. And they, where they, like, her boyfriend is killed and turns out to be a spy, so now she's trying to, like, finish his job. Remember this movie? Yeah, I'm like, the same movie, but I'm enjoying this one a lot more than that one.
Shit, what was that called? The Spy?
Doesn't matter. No one's thought about it since.
Well, I saw that movie
came out
pretty early on in my relationship with Tanya.
Yeah.
Because it was like the 4th weekend of us dating. And I was like, why go see movies all the time? Oh, yeah, that movie was bad.
Well, I don't know. Bad feels too. It was very forgettable. Like, I watched it, I'm like, all right, and then I left my mind. I like this one more, even though it's basically the same thing. But now it fully relies on Whoopi, where Mila got to put off some stuff on. And it's a lot more action-oriented, which makes sense for the current times. Where this was a lot of, like... I will give props to the... at some point, once she hears his voice on the voicemail, then the computer starts talking back to her. And then, like, they can lean away from the typing, and she's just kind of talking at the computer, and we get the sense that she's... The movie thinks we're smart enough to figure out that she's still typing, everybody. Don't worry, she hasn't gone crazy.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was funny.
So I can appreciate that.
I was like, I don't have to look up every 5 seconds to see what
I know,
they're
we're not
typing.
reading the screen. We forgot about a notable guest star, Paxton Whitehead, who's a Frasier alum.
Oh.
He was the guy with the monocle.
Hey, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
And he is the headmaster of the Marbury Academy, where Frasier and Lilith try to get their son into. And they annoy this guy so much that he lets them in on the condition that they never, ever go to the school and talk to him again.
Yeah, thank you. I just put my bingo chip on that one.
Yeah. But let me tell you something. The man's name is Paxton Whitehead, and never has a name fit someone's voice so well.
That sounds damning. Paxton Whitehead.
Yeah, he pretty much plays that role, that guy with monocle role, throughout his whole career.
The soundtrack for this movie, I felt like was kind of a big deal, at least in the day.
It was like
a good mashup.
It was like a composer I recognized too, and they were kind of borrowing from the Jumpin' Jack Flash song a bit as well.
It's Thomas Newman, who's the
Thomas
composer.
Newman, yeah. And then she's listening to it obsessively, and I go, I wonder if this is what Charlie Manson was doing as he was listening to the lyrics of the White Album, and he's like, yes, I figured out the code. We must kill Sharon Tate, yes.
Jeez. So, we also need to note that we've covered a lot of Gary Marshall movies. Now we're starting to cover some Penny Marshall movies. The sister.
Well, we've also covered a lot of James L. Brooks movies, and he gets a special thanks in the credits for this.
Oh, yeah, they're all friends.
They're all these TV people, all palling around with each other. So it never comes up in the movie directly, but apparently Whoopi Goldberg's character is a massive fan of old films. Noted by all of the posters hanging on her wall, including an old one of Metropolis that we kind of open up on. And I go, okay, good character note here. Never mattered. Just the production designer's like, what the hell's lying around? Shit. All right, all these movie posters are in the studio backlot. Let me pull them, hang them up.
Well, I mean, I feel like Penny Marshall is a big fan of movies, so she's trying to incorporate that and make it a character detail. But the script, it doesn't recognize that at all.
I just thought it was because they really make it apparent. And you don't really see a poster of Metropolis on a wall and not have a thought about it. That movie's, 60 years old at that point.
I like Whoopi's outfits in this.
Yes, I was thinking the same.
She's got some good outfits.
We're not fully at Julia Roberts and Mystic Pizza level yet, but we're pretty good.
Yeah. This is the directorial debut of Penny Marshall.
Oh, okay.
Let me give you some stuff now.
Give it to me.
Oh, this is Penny Marshall's only R-rated film, and let me tell you, it's just for cursing.
Yes.
And there's like
if this movie came out today, PG-13.
Definitely.
So
I know that they would
I'm not
just cut
holding
out
it against
the
her.
fucks. They wouldn't.
This is an '80s nonsense thing. Go on.
According to Penny Marshall's memoir, My Mother Was Nuts, the script had numerous versions. Nancy Myers and Charles Shire wrote one for Shelley Long as the star. A version by David Mamet was filled with profanity. Well, I mean, this movie has some profanity.
A version by David Mamet?
David Mamet.
Wow. That must have been nuts, that script.
I'm guessing they would have focused more on the spy stuff.
David
right? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I know.
Bridesmaids, written by David Mamet.
Shelley Long was originally cast to play the lead character.
I've been thinking about that in my mind, like, what does she bring? Would I have liked it more? I think Whoopi's edge, and I don't mean black, everybody, get off my back. Like her more aggressive,
Never thought you meant that.
The aggressive side of herself, I think helps the movie a lot. Where Shelley Long would always be kind of like meek and afraid, and I buy it a little less. She would like try to sneak into the party and stuff, and would put herself in these dangerous situations. Shelley Long would feel like seems like she'd be better geared towards a less active character in a situation where she'd be over her head in something like this.
Yeah.
Just because it's still the stakes are a little too high for Shelley Long's brand of headstrongness. It would be too cartoony. I know this movie has some cartoony moments, but I feel like that's just a bridge too far. But I guess why they first thought to do it.
The phone booth sequence was part of a reshoot in L.A. Jim Belushi, whose character was originally set to appear in 2 scenes and die in a car accident in the second, was brought back, covered in bandages, to explain how he escaped death. Interesting.
Are you supposed to die in that first one? Okay.
I guess so.
Well, I mean, that explains why he's not at the end then. Right?
Yeah, because he's supposed to be dead in the script.
Dead. And we're going to get him for what they did to whatever his character's name is. And I go, what? What is she? Last time we saw him, he was just walking along the car and it bumped into something. He probably got arrested or whatever.
At Mark Van Meter's funeral, the minister says that Van Meter, a spy, was a success in the greeting card industry. In Get Smart, 1965, Maxwell Smart was a spy whose cover was that he worked for a greeting card company. Oh my God, we can connect this to Mr. Deeds.
Oh, we can also connect it to...
And Get Smart.
Yeah.
This is originally titled Knock Knock.
Jumpin' Jack Flash, an easier sell.
Yeah, that's a much better title.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's much better, but at least it's
Then Knock Knock?
For the movie itself, neither really tells us much about what... I was not expecting a spy comedy with either one, but Jumpin' Jack Flash feels more marketable because it's a song people know, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, great.
Exactly.
We're on the same page.
Okay, here you go. Burt Reynolds. What do you think I'm going to say next? You're never going to pick it out. It's crazy. Burt Reynolds was the original choice for director, but he had a falling out with producer Joel Silver and left the project.
Falling out over
I'm going to tell you how many. I want to tell you how many movies Burt Reynolds has directed.
I thought it was none, so I was certainly surprised.
Can you tell me the 4 movies that he's directed?
No.
All right, he's directed. In 1976, he made Gator. Heard of it?
Oh, I have heard of that one. Okay.
1978, he directed The End.
Nope.
It's him and Dom DeLuise and Sally Field.
Nope, don't know what it is.
In 1981, he directed Sharky's Machine.
Nope, certainly don't know that one. That one sounds silly. That would stand out to me.
And the last one he directed was Stick. Have you heard of Stick? Good cast. Burt Reynolds.
Forgettable movie.
George Segal. Candice Bergen. Charles Sterling.
Well, those are all actors I've heard of. That's a good sign.
Those are names I've heard of. Yeah. I like that. I might watch Stick. It's a crime film based on Elmore Leonard's 1983 novel. That can't be bad.
So when we get the big reveal of the British dude at the end...
Yeah, Jonathan Pryce.
Not to offend anybody. I had just presumed he'd be a lot more dashing.
Wow, Jonathan Pryce is handsome. You know what he was in the year before?
What?
Brazil.
And maybe it's just the tastes have changed since the mid-'80s. He did not seem like a gentleman a woman would fawn over, is all I'm saying. Well,
his hair was a little gray, and the year before it was
balding.
He looked like a young kid. Yeah, but the funny thing is, that, like I said, in Brazil, he looks young.
Yeah, maybe
so
he just had like they cast him and he looked really handsome, and then he just had this really rough year, and they're like, he got to set, and she's like, what the fuck? Penny's
Save
like,
him till the end!
Fuck? Yeah.
Save him till the end!
I feels silly when we do this like big reveal up, and we're like, oh, that's all we get? And then we cut back to Whoopi, and she's like, wow. And I go, Whoopi, you could do better.
Yeah, because, I mean, Stephen Collins.
Look way more handsome. That's that generically handsome white dude in the 80s. I say, all right, not the most handsome guy today, but, you know, I get why that was handsome in the 80s.
Yeah.
Stephen Pryce, I'm just like, okay, a little too overly bred British man. Movie does not pass the Bechdel test.
Oh,
Right.
Poor Carol Kane.
Yeah, Whoopi and Carol have a lot of conversations, but they're all about one or the other dating somebody and or her boss.
Who's this Jack Flash?
Yeah. Ooh, wow. Want to know how this movie's old, Joe?
Oh, is it that they're like AIM conversations they're having? Like pre-AIM?
Yeah, man, what a crazy amount of customer service Whoopi's giving. I'm like, what? My bank doesn't give me this much. And then immediately her boss scolds her for being so customer servicely. And I go, okay, this makes sense. And it's not even like AIM. It almost looks like they're entering command prompts into each other. Like, I don't actually know what terminal is being used to send the messages or program or whatever.
I mean, when was AOL even invented?
Long afterward. Like, it seems like they're not even using a Windows application. So I don't know how any of this is functioning.
AOL was invented in 1985.
Okay, but that's AOL, right? The internet service.
Okay.
Different than AOL
Yeah.
Instant Messenger.
I guess it was founded in 83. This is weird. Okay, I'm getting
Yes.
this thing.
How's this movie old? Well, Taxi's very prominent, as you've noticed. Taking taxis all the time. And they keep abandoning her. Telephone booths serve as a major set piece. Not at all weird that she's using it. Jim Belushi's in a movie. That's how you know the movie's old. They don't do that anymore.
Well, I mean, in movies, yeah, I guess he's a TV guy now.
TV guy now. And the Queen of England is still alive. Still kicking.
Well, that was just a recent thing.
Yeah, yes. Put that in. Still old.
She was still old back then, right?
Still old. Even then, she was old, I hear.
So this was a delight. I liked visiting Whoopi today.
Yeah, and we'll
week.
finish it off, but real quick, we have to go to what everybody's been waiting for. It's the second movie of a new season, and that means we got to go over the rankings of our films from the previous season.
Yes.
A taller order this time with so many films. Can you guess what you think my favorite film
Number
is?
one? I would think it would be The Passenger.
Yeah,
Am I
that was
wrong?
a fair guess. Yeah, that's pretty
I know you like that movie.
hard
a
to
lot.
not say that. What do you think my least
You showed me
favorite
that
film
one.
would be?
Ooh, this is a much tougher one.
So many great options.
I'm looking at my bottom list, and I'm wondering if you sided with me, but I don't know. What's the one we hated the most?
We hated Pritzi's Honor the most.
Yeah, Pritzi's Honor.
It's not Pritzi's Honor, though it's very far down there.
Pritzi's Honor is kind of high.
Pritzi's Honor at least had, for me at least, had like elements of like real film. It just was kind of dumb. The movie that was a complete mess and also real dumb, Trouble.
Oh, I actually have Man Trouble above Pritzi's Honor.
We'll go into our top five and bottom five to summarize at the end. But how do I find your list? Mine's public now.
I gotta make it public, which I'm doing.
Oh, look, it says I've 100%ed Jack Nicholson.
I'm looking at you.
Cardinal, no.
Wow.
You got a different Shining poster than I do.
Oh, yeah, because I have the patron thing.
5 Easy Pieces, a perfectly fine top one choice. No one will quibble with you there.
I like this top five. A Safe Place is, wow.
Yes.
I need to
I think
watch
my
all
1
those.
and 2 were pretty locked in the whole time. It was going to take like a full frontal-esque discovery to supplant either of those. The top 5 was actually
love
tough.
Tommy.
Usually there's like 3 or 4, and then like there's always a big drop-off. So it's pretty... These top 11 films are really all fantastic. So it was like, what order can I put these in? Like, it was very tough.
We've kind of got a similar top 10. Kind of. There's
not
like
quite.
4 or 5 that are.
We have 5 of the same in the top 10. But good to see The Passenger up there.
Of course.
Chinatown.
You showed me that.
I think Chinatown we both have as our number 5. Is that right? Or is mine 4 and Shining's 5?
Got 5 Easy Pieces up there. I love that movie. I rewatched that one.
Yeah,
so good.
movie's good.
You got Easy Rider up there high.
I do. I liked Easy.
Realtor.
I mean, yours is number 14, so it's not like mine's that much higher than yours. Yeah, Easy Rider I liked a lot more than I thought I would. You have Reds very high up on this list. You have it at number 21.
That seems normal.
The top third of his films. You've got Reds hilariously high up. It's a choice. I'm not begrudging you for it, but it's fun.
You know what? I will put The King of Marvin Gardens over Reds.
Hey, all right. We got one, folks.
I agree with that. There's a point where it's like, these are fine. They need to be up where the fine ones are. And then there's a real big drop-off for me, and that starts probably around Anger Management.
So number 44. All right. So the top 2/3 of his films.
That's a drop-off.
You're for all of them. They all work for you.
Yeah, they're fine. There's at least 1 or 2 things I like in them.
I love how high up Velocity is.
Do I have Velocity that up?
You have it number 50, which I know doesn't sound high, but
it's above Ironweed. It deserves to be above Ironweed. Someone was experimenting. You always talk about experimenting.
Above Fortune.
Yeah, this all makes sense to me.
Rousers. Wow, for a man who loves Terms of Endearment, you really dislike The Evening Star.
Yeah, that movie's
They're
a
like
piece
on
of
opposite
shit.
ends of the pole. That's kind of crazy. And I don't fault you for putting The Crossing Guard last. I'm not. It's not last for me, but I get where you're coming from.
It just looks bad too. Like I don't think it's shot well. It looks awful.
Poor Ensign Pulver all the way down there.
What should be really remarked upon, though, is how high up the bucket list is for me. I was not expecting that. I like
how high up, which, by the way, folks, he means midway through. It is number 32 on his list. It is in the top of the bottom half.
Most people think it should be in the dead bottom, but
that movie was successful. Most people don't like it now.
What? I mean, I guess it doesn't present without context for the movie. Like, it's like just the idea of Morgan Freeman, Jack Nicholson, at the end of towards the end of their careers, like, oh, we're gonna do this movie about old guys, like, you know how they did the Michael Douglas and I mean, that's a different kind
Wild
of
Hogs.
old. Yeah, no, but I'm talking about like the Last Vegases. Did you ever hear? Yeah, that's what I'm kind of like the bucket list. That's like the tier of, but it's a little cut above. There's some real humanity to it.
Some other notable differences with mine. You have St. Valentine's Day Massacre in the middle. I put it very close to the bottom just because it felt very dry. It was like, all right, here's the facts. All right, the movie's over now. See you next time.
I gave that 3 stars. Oh, because it has good actors in it, probably.
Yeah,
like
it does.
Jason
But
Robards.
it felt like a dramatic reenactment more than a movie.
Yeah. Well,
so I had it pretty low down.
When did we watch that? When was my?
Yeah, what was that movie? 1964.
Last August.
And he was in it for like half a second, and you didn't even see Jack Nicholson in the movie.
Even see him. I gave 3 stars. I don't see him. Whatever.
Because he's having like this raspy ass voice, and he's like, "You gotta use garlic."
How do you remember that?
Because it was so weird. And he's using this weird voice, and like I've been waiting all movie to find him, and like there he was, and he never came back. And I'm like, were you just walking around the studio one day, and Corman stepped out for a cigarette break and saw you? He's like, hey, you want to do a thing real quick? Come on, we gotta go.
I have On a Clear Day, You Can See Forever, the Vincent Minnelli,
certainly higher than I
Barbara Streisand movie.
You were just like, damn, what a great shirt Jack's in. Number 26.
He looks dashing.
Yeah.
You're remarking how Jonathan Pryce wasn't very dashing. I think
Jonathan's not dashing.
Jack Nicholson in 1970, Hunk City. He's a good looking man in that.
You have,
and he's the brother. He's got like a 10-minute brother scene.
Yeah. And a song they cut out. Singing. Yeah, unfortunate. Because we learned in Tommy, he can sing.
Yeah.
He can sing. He's sung better than I thought he was going to. Good for him. Witches of Eastwick, Mars Attack, higher than I would have thought. And you really liked... Well, no. Okay, The Departed, I get that.
Did you see my number 10?
Blood and Wine. Now that's a hot take.
Yeah.
Blood and Wine. Yeah, your top 10 doesn't really surprise me, except for Blood and Wine. Like that.
Oh, I loved Blood and Wine. What a great... I can't believe you put Nicholson and Lopez together. J-Lo, that's great. Who had the balls to do that? Oh, his friend Bob Rafelson. They are on the May-December lines right there.
Well, there was Main Guy, too, right? Who was Main Guy? Was it Paul Walker? Or just other ice-tip bleach blonde guy? Because Jennifer Lopez is in a triangle, baby.
Stephen Dorff.
Stephen Dorff.
Dorff.
That is a 90s film.
Yeah,
how do you know your films from the 90s?
Just watch him in. I just watched a Stephen Dorff movie. Oh, okay. Have you heard of a movie called Cold Creek Manor?
No. Wait.
It was on Tubi.
Yes, I did. That was like, that came out like the same year Lord of the Rings, right? And they were like both the Academy.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, listen to this cast for 2003. Does this make any sense to you?
Yeah.
The main couple is Dennis Quaid and Sharon Stone.
Okay, keep going.
In 2003.
Keep going.
Okay? Stephen Dorff plays the psycho trying to attack the family.
Yeah.
I believe Juliette Lewis is either his sister or lover. I think maybe both. I don't know. It was a weird movie. Kristen Stewart plays the daughter. And Christopher Plummer plays the psycho head of the family of Stephen Dorff's character.
Okay.
Like he's just like some like hillbilly guy in a bed.
Kristen Stewart aside, it's like, all right, we've cast this movie in 1997, and it just took us a long time to get it made.
Yeah, well, she's just hot off of Panic Room, though. Like, that was like her big buzzy movie. But, like, everybody else is like, we haven't had hits in, like, a decade. Like, what?
I remember...
Christopher Plummer's just, but it's on Tubi. Check it out.
I'm thinking of a different movie before I say something stupid.
Uh-oh. This is a Catherine Hahn and a gas tire take? By the way, I just saw Catherine Hahn in something.
Oh, you know what it is? I'm thinking of Cold Mountain.
Oh, yeah. Good movie.
Yeah, what is it? Cold Creek Manor? I see how I got them confused.
Cold Creek Manor, yeah.
Yeah, Cold Mountain, also from 2003. There was like some sketch on one of the shows, SNL or Mad TV or whatever, where it was like Family Feud, but it was like Lord of the Rings versus Cold Mountain.
Okay.
And so that Academy Award year always stood out to me because like those were the two top contenders. And if it had been,
you know what else came that?
What?
Yeah.
What else?
That was the year the Something's Got to Give.
That's right. Yeah.
And they had the opening montage was Billy Crystal, and I remember Jack Nicholson pops up on a white horse because he's supposed to be like Gandalf.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's kind of funny.
That's when Jack used to sit in the front row.
Now, unless it's on a basketball court, it's not going to bother.
Not without his lasagna.
No. Oh, is he going to play Garfield in the new movie?
Jack, do you think he's going to come out of retirement just to play Garfield?
Garfield has a strange habit of luring out talented actors that are too good for the movie.
Ugh, just another Monday.
Yeah. Are they getting Chris Pratt? Is Chris Pratt being fucking Garfield? Am I going to lose my mind?
I can't. I mean, he's the safest bet now. He's the top grossing movie star this year, I guess.
I just want it to all be over. I want all of Hollywood.
You want to know why he's the top grossing movie star, right?
Well, obviously Guardians of the
Galaxy 2
Galaxy
movies
3.
this year. And it's me!
Oh, yeah.
Chris Pratt!
Yes, exactly. That's the reason why everybody went to see that movie.
It was $1 billion movie.
It's tough to be the highest earning movie star when nobody's going to your movies because you're the movie star, right? Like that's got to feel kind of shitty. You've technically won, but not really.
Why do you have some random movie in here? Hold on. What is this?
I have the same amount of movies you have. I have the same amount of movies you have. I have 62 movies.
Weird movie.
It's all
what
62.
Is Too Young to Love? What did you review now? You reviewed the wrong movie.
Oh no.
I love this.
Oh my God.
So let me find the movie.
Well, you know, every time we talked about the movie, I would call it Too Soon to Love. And then when I went to do my rankings, I'm like, oh shit, it's called Too Young to Love. I'm going to look stupid. Boy, was I right for the wrong reason.
Yeah, so you did review it, but you have it
So I have reviewed
list.
Too Young to Love, but then I added the wrong movie. Is that what you're saying?
Well, because the movie's Too Soon to Love.
Okay, so
and
but
you
I
reviewed that movie.
I reviewed Too Soon to
You
Young.
didn't put it
I've
on your
not
list.
reviewed Too Young to Love.
No, you reviewed them both apparently.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Still learning how to use this app, huh? Too Young to Love.
Fine,
Jack Nicholson
fine.
is not
I'll
part of
fix
that
it.
movie.
I will fix it.
It's just that you have it so high up. It's number 22.
I kind of liked Too Soon to Love's directing. I did.
Yeah, but the thing is, the problem with this is that you have the wrong movie in there.
I know. I'm gonna put Too Soon to Love there. That was the movie I was thinking I was doing.
That's so funny.
Jeez.
Yeah, that movie I believe is like number 61 in my list.
Yeah, it's pretty low. It is number 59 out of 62 for you. I get it. The script's not great, but I was impressed with the directing, especially for the year that it came out.
You hated Reds that much?
I really, really, really was bored by Red.
I know it was long, but
that was a major. If it were a 2 hour and 20-minute film, I would have been like, fine, whatever. A little long,
but that's like the
boring.
Sexiest, like Nicholson. Like not even like scum sexy. He's just like. He's got the little mustache.
Not enough for me. Just sitting around for 3.5 hours being like, oh my God, be over. It's midnight. How am I still watching this film?
Well, you should have put it on at noontime. It would have been over by 3:50.
Yes, apparently I should have. I started it at like 8 or 7:50 or whatever. It just kept going. But you're right. There is like a big chunk in the middle where you're like, I don't know. They're all kind of similar. Whatever. You have Tommy very low, but certainly not for everybody. You have the shooting kind of low, but also very much not for everybody.
Yeah, Tommy's low because I don't like seeing Anne Margaret sprayed with beans. It's not nice.
A lot of
Leave her
beans.
alone.
You have
Lots and
Little
lots
Shop
of
of Horrors higher than I would have done it, but you're close enough to the end where it doesn't really matter.
Close enough to the end.
You have it at 43
like,
out of 62, so you're like in the bottom third. Like, fine. Ironweed sucks. The Fortune's not great. Man Trouble, obviously terrible. Pritzi's Honor.
Yeah.
Back to the Hell, I kind of liked a little bit. You have that pretty low down. It's kind of like Twilight Zone-esque to it, so like that was fine for me.
I love that though.
Broken
We
Land,
give it the same
very
rating, but it's
forgettable.
low. Yeah, I'm really proud of my Blood and Wine ranking.
That is the hot take for sure of this
Kind
list.
of ballsy.
Wishes of Eastwood kind of
It's
high, but
late
that movie's
Jack,
popular, so I can see it.
Yeah.
Well, Few Good Men, certainly one of his well-known films. I guess I'm surprised you have that more than The Departed. You're a Scorsese guy.
They're right next to each other. And I like Jack mouthing off to Tom Cruise more than I like Jack mouthing off to Leo. Also, the line where he's just like saying, the line is, I'm gonna rip the eyes out of your head and piss into your dead skull. You fucked with the wrong Marine.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's too good.
Safe Place you have higher than I would have thought for you, so appreciate that. I think it would be pretty low on most people's lists.
I want to revisit that one too. I don't know. I liked it a lot.
It is. It's quite out there, so I get it. I'm not, when you put the shooting in the middle, I go like, I get it. You have it in technically the top half, so I count that as a win, but I get it.
Yeah. Where did you put Blood and Wine? Where did you put yours?
It's in the lower third, somewhere in there, I think.
Yeah, it's okay.
It had it higher just because, I don't know, there was something kind of kooky about it.
27.
Yeah, it's higher
It's
up
right
than
next to Batman and as good as it gets.
higher up than I
Damn.
thought, yeah.
But you know what's higher above it? Too Young to Love, which doesn't star Jack Nicholson.
I'm gonna switch it! I will switch it, get off my back.
I know.
What is this movie about? A court case ensues when a 47-year-old man is caught with a 15-year-old girl and he claims he never knew she was so young. Wow, I bet she's
Jesus,
going to get
that is
blamed for a lot of
yikes.
things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here's the
that's a
tagline.
Lolita
If this
situation.
happened to your daughter, would you be to blame? Thomas Mitchell, Pauline Hahn, Joan Miller, Austin Willis, Vivian. I don't know who any of these people are.
I have never heard of any of these folks. I have seen some movies that Michael Bell has done. Michael Bell, who's not given a credit, but he is in the movie. He's done movies like Point Blank. Yeah. You heard of Point Blank?
Yeah,
Huh?
I've heard of Point Blank.
Have you heard of the Rugrats movie? Have you heard of the Rugrats in Paris?
All
The
right.
movie? Have you heard of Rugrats Go Wild? Why is he in all the Rugrats
Yeah,
movies?
what character is he in these Rugrat films? It's got to be like
He
one of the
plays-
parents or something.
Oh, you're right. He does play Drew Pickles and
Okay.
Charles Chaz Finster Sr.
Oh, he plays them both. Interesting.
Oh, he's also in the Transformers movie, so that means he did work with Orson Welles.
Oh, wow. Rugrats characters are in the Transformers films? That's crazy.
No, he plays Prowl, Scrapper, Swoop, and Junkion.
Yeah, I don't know what any of these are. All right, so let's wrap up here. Now, we normally do our top 5, bottom 5, but he's in so many films, Joe. Let's do top 10 and bottom 10. So give me your bottom 10.
My bottom 10. All right. Let's see. Bottom 10. Should I go backwards or should I start at 50?
Let's start at 53.
So we got 53 is Man Trouble. 54 is Cry Baby Killer. 55, Pritzi's Honor. 56, The Last Tycoon, which is a real slog. 57, The Broken Land. 58, Backdoor to Hell. 59, Too Soon to Love. 60, Rebel Rousers. 61, The Evening Star. And the worst movie that I feel like I watched for Jack Nicholson was The Crossing Guard.
Yeah, I was about to say, it doesn't seem like we have a lot of crossovers in our bottom 10 either, but it's basically the same as the top 10. It's 4 out of this 10. We've got the same ones.
Okay.
My bottom 10, number 53, Rebel Rousers. Number 54, The Little Shop of Horrors, which maybe I should have been nicer to, because it was only like an hour long.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
55, The Raven. 56, Ironweed.
Ooh.
57, Studs Lonigan. Sort of also kind of documentary reenactment type film. 58, The Crossing Guard. 59, St. Valentine's Day Massacre. I'll explain why. 60, Pritzi's Honor. Ugh.
That's like...
61, Velocity. And 62, Man Trouble. Terrible film. All right, give me your top 10, starting with number 10.
Blood and Wine, number 10. Number 9, About Schmidt. Number 8, Terms of Endearment. Number 7, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Number 6, As Good as It Gets. Number 5, Chinatown. Number 4, The Passenger. Number 3, The Shining. Number 2, Carnal Knowledge. Number 1, A Perfect Movie, 5 Easy Pieces.
All right, my number 10, rounding off the list, Tommy, just squeaking in above his other musical, The Monkey's Head. Number 9, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Number 8, Easy Rider. Number 7, The Shooting. Number 6, 5 Easy Pieces. Number 5, The Shining. Number 4, Chinatown. Number 3, The King of Marvin Gardens, which is really the success story of this season. Yeah. Marvin Gardens might have been like number 28 before we began, if you were to ask me to theoretically rank them.
Wow.
I was really mid on that film. And then I watched it with you, and I'm like, all right, this might be a top 10 film. And then I rewatched it for like our final episode of it, and that bumped it up to the top 3. It just, overall, not as finely crafted as 5 Easy Pieces, but is doing a lot of things that I think work, taking a lot of risks and doing something a little out there. So, King of Marvin Gardens, number 3. And then number 2, to no one's surprise, Safe Place, followed by number 1, The Passenger. Then we go to our Southland Tales Award. We give this out to the film in the year that surprises me, Patrick, the most. And the film I'm most grateful to the season actor for giving me an excuse to watch. Southland Tales, obviously. The first winner. Last year was Full Frontal. This season, Tommy.
Yeah.
Was front runner from my first viewing, and nobody really came to displace it since. I'm trying to think. We didn't have one for the Adam Sandler season, but maybe like ex post facto would be like Waterboy, would be my guess.
Yeah, for you. For me, it's quickly turning into a movie. I don't know if you want me to reveal yet.
Okay, well,
it went from like a 2-star movie to like a 3.5-star movie to like a 4-star movie. Now it's at a 4.5. I think we're almost ready to make it a 5. This movie stars Adam Sandler
makes sense.
and Al Pacino. It's called Jack and Jill.
Jill, jeez, yeah.
Oh,
The success
let me
story
tell
of
you.
the Adam Sandler.
It's a holiday movie. It's a brilliant Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve movie. I can't sing its praises high enough.
All right.
I've been regularly quoting it to my family, and they think I'm crazy.
Well, that's fair. Okay, all right, let's get back to Whoopi. Let's wrap up Jumpin' Jack Flash. Any last looks on that film?
Like I said, I'm gonna go back to her outfits. She has some great outfits in this. I like her style. It's like a lot of loose clothing. I like that. For me, for her, we like that together. It's good.
All right, my last.
What are your last looks?
Pretty all right for an '80s film. I'd certainly take it over, I guess, pretty much all of Jack Nicholson's '80s films that we just reviewed.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I don't count Terms of Endearment as an '80s film, and I probably would watch 3/4 of The Border over Jumpin' Jack Flash.
I was just gonna say, I love The Border.
But that would pretty much be it. Everything else,
wow.
fine. Give me Jumpin' Jack Flash over whatever. Eastwick and
You really don't like
Prince's
The Witches of
Honor,
Eastwick, yeah.
Was not a fan of. I think that one might be one of the higher rated 80 ones, though. If I had to go back and look.
I mean, you're also forgetting that. I know you'll probably say, "Oh, it's just a holdover from the '70s," but 1980 is The Shining.
Yep, I'm telling you, 70s movie, right? Conceived of in like 1975 or 6.
Yeah, I did
and
just
then
watch
took
it.
a million
and it really
years
feels
to
like
make.
a '70s movie.
That's a 70s film. All right, Jumpin' Jack Flash, fun comedy. Whoopi Goldberg
Fun
showing her
time.
comedic chops early. No wonder she does a lot of comedy roles after this. More than her dramatic roles. The comedy stuff really takes off. I buy it. Fun screen persona to watch. Why does she do this movie?
Absolutely.
Well, because she's trying to get work. She's done the 2 movies before
She's
this.
making money.
She doesn't know she's going to
some
win an
paychecks
Academy
now.
Award yet. So just take the work.
4 years.
She starts off as a comedian, and why not take a comedy movie where you're the star? Makes total sense to me. Don't fault you there for it at all, Whoopi. Even if I didn't like it as much as some people would. Even if I didn't like it at all, I wouldn't fault you for it. Go for what you can. A stronger start than Jack Nicholson. You had like 1 toiling nothing movie and then 2 very big roles for you.
Yeah,
Good
then
work.
you're in a Steven Spielberg movie.
Steven Spielberg, and then star of a Penny Marshall film. Good start to your career, just like the others, right? The others, like 1 obscure film, really big films after that. Kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
That seems to be the pattern
it's-
for these movie stars. They get like found right away.
Yeah, because
wild,
Jack
right?
was like old Hollywood. Like he came up through like the Corman films. Yeah, he did it the way.
Yeah, the old school way.
The only way he knew how to.
Yeah.
But yeah, now there's like you're given just like a star vehicle if you're a comedian or if you're a wrestler.
Yeah, they've got a formula now, so. All right, well, I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards, keeping the sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank my co-host Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
No, thank you.
And I am your host, Patrick Scale. You may find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at quixoticunited.com and social media, presumably, with a similar sounding name. Thank you all for listening, Joe. Say goodnight.
Good night.
Call for Mr. Vekeman. Mr. Vekeman
Hello.
speaking. I'm Mr.
hello.
Vekeman.
You don't want to be me. Just the little like lilt, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm on the stupid plane, and I'm once again, it's all Friends, King of Queens. Everybody's of Raymond, which I wouldn't begrudge, but I'm in the middle of watching it right now, so I've just seen all these episodes. But then you know what? They had on IFC, the Independent Film Channel.
Oh,
They had a 6-hour marathon of Three's Company because Suzanne Summers had just died. Not the best, but fine, I'll take it. But on the other plane ride, it was nothing. So that,
would you fly on Delta?
No, JetBlue.
JetBlue's good.
So they're like, you got internet.
like
I'm like,
JetBlue.
okay, fine. I'll download these episodes of the Drew Carey Show off my Google Drive. Took me like 3.5 hours to download 1 episode.
Terrible.
Terrible. And then I'm like,
20-minute
all right,
episode.
well, they've got BlackBerry on the thing. Maybe I'll. But then, like, my headphone jack didn't. Like, I couldn't hear through my headphone jack. So even if there
This is
had
my
been good
nightmare.
things on TV, wouldn't have mattered. So now that's why I'm watching the Jennifer Lawrence movie on my neighbor's TV. Wow.
This Jennifer Lawrence movie?
I just put it on Letterboxd and you liked it. It was the comedy. She needs the
Joy?
car. No.
Le Challenge.
No, what? I don't know what the hell that is.
That's what I moved it on there's a French poster instead of no hard feelings. The French poster says Le Challenge. I thought that was funny, so I chose that.
Yeah,
instead.
I'm watching, sort of glancing at his screen, wherein he's got the subtitles on the movie. But the subtitles were good because sometimes it'd be like sentimental music plays. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes
That's
sense.
helpful.
There. So is that, and then I had some operas on my computer, so I watched those. My computer's headphone jack worked just fine. But I was also sick that it was not a good. And I'm like in the middle. I'm in the middle. A couple has decided to not buy the middle seat and have a stranger sit in between them, and they keep chatting with each other and like handing things to each other.
Oh my God.
Another wonderful plane ride experience for yours truly. Why does he hate flying? Oh, who could say?
I'm sorry, but you need to travel with one other person. That way you have like someone that's next to you. And if it's the right person, they'll be fucking quiet, so you can just enjoy the quietness but you're not interrupted by some random stranger. I can't believe they make you sit between them.
Well, because
they didn't want to sit next to each other.
No, here's what I was told when I brought it up to somebody else. To say, oh yeah, couples will do that a lot because they think that nobody will buy the middle seat because they don't want to sit in the middle. Here's what I'll say. Not that I've traveled very much on a plane, but my last couple years of traveling, Gambit's not working. Planes are all sold out. There's no bonus seats on planes anymore. Assume it's not going to work and save everybody the hassle and buy a seat next to the person you want to sit next to. Or at least when they buy the middle seat, offer to switch. Not asking for much, am I?
They really didn't want to switch?
No, I didn't even know.
One of the window, one of the aisle.
I didn't know for the first hour. I'm just like, oh, I'm sitting next between two old people. All right, whatever.
Oh, they were old?
They're old?
Oh, no. This is truly a nightmare.
Yeah, then it turned out, they just kept chatting with each other. It was like,
for 6
planes,
hours.
They suck. And then here's the weird thing, right? So on one of the old person's TV, they're watching a Friends rerun with the captions on, mercifully. So I can kind of like poke and see that. And on the other TV, they go, late breaking news, Matthew Perry found dead. And I saw, and I'm looking back and forth between the screens. It was a very surreal moment as I'm watching, 28-year-old Matthew Perry right next to Matthew Perry found dead at 54. And I'm like,
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, I can't. That was a jarring moment this weekend.
I know. Sick all day, and then I'm getting on a plane, and then the plane gets delayed, and then it gets delayed again. So I'm living at this fucking airport. Yeah, I know. Another great time at the airport for yours truly.
Why was it delayed? Just rain?
I don't know.
What was going on? It
All
was
I
like a
know
nice
is
weekend,
the plane
wasn't it?
was coming from Aruba, and because the plane was coming from Aruba, they had to clean it extra special. I don't think that's Aruba specifics for any of our Aruban listeners. I think they just said it was because it was international.
Yeah, I haven't been on a plane in over 5 years. So
Good.
I don't know.
Get away. Nothing good comes from planes, Joe.
I guess.
Nothing.
Got you back and forth pretty quickly.
I just wouldn't have gone. Fine. I said, sorry, Alberto. You had your chance. Should have gotten married a couple years ago. You'd only been seeing her for 6 years at that point. How was your Halloween? You got any trick-or-treaters?
I was asleep, but before that, I have two giant gashes in my back right now because Tanya thought it'd be funny if she poked my legs as I was going upstairs, and my legs gave way because she was poking the back of my kneecap, and I fell forward onto 3 of my ACs with the window siding sticking out, and it really hurt. Really hurt. I have a big patch on my back now because she had to gauze me up and everything. I was all split open.
Well,
it was not nice. That was yesterday.
Well,
It was pretty miserable. After working 11 hours.
And it does sound kind of funny.
I mean, it's funny when I'm fine now, but it sucked having that feeling.
I'm not usually here on Halloween, not on purpose, just like in happenstance. I've just haven't been around when Halloween night would come around, but I was this week, and usually we don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters here, but it was popping last night. I'm glad I went out and got some candy at like 5 in the afternoon.
Jeez.
In the middle of some work
Kinda
I
close.
was doing. Well, because all of a sudden it dawned on me, it's like, oh shit, today's Halloween. Can't tell here because
That's nice of you.
still seems like it's the summer. So I ran out to the CVS. The candy's now on sale because they're like, this has got to go. Get out of here.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
One of my supervisors last night said that the candy was like $30 for a bag of it because they were like, well, we know you need it now.
No, they were like, all right, candy's got to go. So I grabbed the candy.
Fun.
It was pretty good. And had a variety of the candies. Why did I want to bring this up? Oh, I had the Candyman music playing. And I was like, the trick-or-treaters are going to come. They're going to be like, wow, great soundtrack. Or like, yeah, Philip Glass is the man. Nothing. No musically inclined trick-or-treaters.
That movie is 31 years old.
Yeah, but the new one just came out. Why aren't the kids in the
new
know?
one, I'm sorry, is dog shit. It's so bad.
I thought it was all right.
One.
And they used some of the score.
I don't remember that.
Well,
I was so out on that movie.
Fine. All right. I guess we'll do a little Whoopi. We'll get a little Whoopi on.
You want to do Whoopi first?
Get our Whoopi. Yeah.
I need to know.
Let's do Whoopi.
All right.
Well,
I'm going to get Whoopi on the brain.
So we don't... I watched this movie a week ago. I want to make sure it's still in there.
I did watch it a week ago as well. My problem was solved, which is I just paid for it and I cry. I was like, I'm going to be broke.
All right.
Stupid kid needs a stupid school.
Yeah, school sucks.
Yeah.
You got to pay for school?
It doesn't suck. It's preschool.
Yeah.
You got to pay for preschool now. Yeah, I know.
Just find like an unlicensed daycare or whatever, They're pretty cheap.
Unlicensed daycare. I just don't like the whole sound of that.
Fine.